Hey everyone, it's Christian. I am back with another video, and I am just so excited to show you something else that I've been working on as well. So, for anyone who watched the video last week, thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for liking it, for sharing it, for commenting, and for all of the kind words that were shared last week. Thank you so much. I think you'll enjoy this one just as much as that one. Just a quick little disclaimer. This video, everything that I'm about to show you is highly experimental. It is still very new, but I think there's still a ton of different takeaways. But just keep in mind, things might not necessarily work as intended or might still be a little bit rough around the edges. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so I'm not typically a fan of very long intros, but I do have to set the scene here before we can get into the demonstration. Let's pretend that the company that we all work at just slapped us with an NDA to let us know that they will be acquiring a brand new company. And so it is our job to be part of that process. We are now at the point where we've met the point of contact that we'll be working with. So they have just recently sent over their very first employee list. And now we have the opportunity to try to make sure that the data on that list is in the correct format for us so that we can ultimately get that employee list into Workday EIBs so that we can populate them into either our sandbox tenant or preview tenant. Okay, so we have that first employee list from the company. Don't freak out just yet. I know everyone's screaming PII, right? But this employee list is actually completely fake. So I've taken our employee list format, and essentially what I've done is I've used AI to generate 100 rows of employees to use as fake data. So that's exactly what we're looking at here. No need to worry about PII. This is all absolutely fake. And this is what we're going to be using for the demonstration. So if you're anything like me, getting an employee list like this and working through trying to figure out, where the errors are, either here or, downstream, is just so annoying and so frustrating, right? It's just hard to know whether an organization, their data is correct when you've just barely introduced yourselves at that point. So I've built a skill to see if I could potentially make that process a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and jump in. Again, because we are using fake data, I'm going to be using Claude for this skill, but please do not put PII data or any other of your company's data into these public LLMs. Make sure that you're abiding by your company's policies here. But again, because I'm using fake data, I'm okay. Okay, so this employee list is pristine. Let's try to mess this up a little bit, right? Because that would be a little bit more accurate to, a first employee list that we were to receive. I will bring in that fake worker data with those 5 errors. And then I will prompt Claude with a quick little message. So I'll say, can you help with validating this employee list for an upcoming M&A event? Perfect. So I will click enter and we'll let that run. Okay, so while we wait, I've made a list so that you can see exactly who's missing what, right? So we have an incorrect manager ID, and that's Jennifer Park. We have a missing job profile for Marie Price, a termination date, but no termed status, and that is Matthew Sullivan. George Phillips is missing a supervisory organization name, and Jeffrey Adams has the unapproved cost center here. All right, so now we have a list of all 5 of those errors. So Claude just got done running that validation test on that fake worker data, and it's letting us know that the validation status is not ready, right? So it's not ready for EIB uploads, and it looks like we have a couple errors here. So let's go ahead and check those out and see what Claude found out. All right, perfect. So now here is the report that Claude created, right? So the report was just generated here. The first tab is just a super high level count of all of the important information that we need to see. So the second tab here is going to be validation results. Skill is letting Claude know some of the checks that we do on the employee lists for M&A events, just to make sure that we won't run into any validation issues downstream, either, during the EIB process or even after upload. So we'll see that a couple of these tests have passed, but a few of them have also failed, right? So required fields, it looks like we're missing one. Managers having a supervisory organization name, that failed. Manager name, ID consistency, that failed. It looks like there's an active worker with no term date. There's a warning there, and then an invalid cost center. So that failed as well. So if we tab over one more, we get to see all of these issues in much more detail. So Claude has let us know the severity of the validation, right? So either fail or warn. It's let us know the validation rule that was broken here, issue type, the affected worker, and then just a quick little description as to why it failed. So for example, here we have our buddy Jeffrey Phillips, who has, the invalid cost center of fund committee. Marie Price is missing a job profile. George Phillips is the manager without a supervisory organization name. Jennifer Park is the person whose manager ID was actually incorrect. And then the final warning here is that Matthew Sullivan, his status is currently active, but he has a termination date, right? Awesome. Awesome. So Claude was able to find all 5 of those errors, right? Again, very, very much still a work in progress. This is something that we're still testing, but something that I was super, super excited for us to see today. All right, there's one more skill that I want to show you. And again, just want to reiterate, this is all very, very experimental, but I still think it's going to be awesome. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I will upload the employee list that is completely validated. So this one is spotless. This one is good to go. Okay, so I'm going to prompt Claude with this prompt, which says, can you help with generating supervisory organization EIBs for this employee list? So let's let it run and we'll see how it does. Okay, so while this runs, just to give you a very, very high level of how it's structured, it is 4 levels tall. The top level is obviously the CEO, and that's going to be just one supervisory organization. The second level is going to be 4 supervisory organizations, so the 4 C-suite members reporting into the CEO. The third level is going to be the direct reports for those C-suite individuals, right? And so on the third level, there should be 8 supervisory organizations. And then on the fourth level, there will be 5 supervisory organizations. Let's see how Claude does with that structure. Okay, so it looks like Claude finally finished up that skill. And just from a high level, again, at the very top, there's going to be just the CEO. The second level is going to be 4 direct reports. So far, so good. Level 3, 8 supervisory organizations. That is correct. And level 4, 5 supervisory organizations. It looks like Claude may have gotten the job done. So let's dive into the EIBs to see how it did. We're now in the first EIB that Claude produced, and I apologize about all the formatting issues here, but just at a quick glance, I think Claude did a pretty good job. It looks like all of the data is correct and is placed where it needs to be placed. The superior org is correct. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the second level. So again, that was number 1. Number 2 should have 4, which it does. And the way that we upload these supervisory organizations, it looks like this formatting is correct, right? So all of these organizations roll up into that top level there. Looks pretty good. Third level should be 8, and it looks like it is. Formatting looks good too. Okay. And then the last level should be 5, which it is. Looks pretty good. Obviously, we would know for sure once we go to upload these EIBs, which I haven't done quite yet, but I still think that this is doing a much better job than I anticipated it doing. And still tons of different takeaways to be discussed about this. I think the intelligence of AI is at a place where we can start to architect some of these skills. And so I would encourage you, go off and build your own skills, because this is going to be a very essential element of architecting not only workflows, but even AI agents moving forward. I hope you guys like this video. Definitely feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you're building anything like this. Let's connect. I've been able to connect with a ton of different people since the video last week. Definitely keep reaching out. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one. See you, everyone.